Hi everyone and welcome to the Gentleman's Talk. Firstly, let me apologise. I know this is probably may not be the day that you're watching this, is a Sunday. However, it's not a Sunday, it's a Monday, and I've missed my reflection day, which is normally on a Sunday. So there's a mixture of reasons why. I'm going to be brutally honest, I haven't got the motivation. I've just lost the motivation, and today I've pushed myself to get motivated because I enjoy this process and I enjoy talking. So I've got so much to talk about as well, which is really, really amazing. So I've got some good news, I've got some good stories, I've got some mixture of emotions stories, I've got all sorts. I've got a whirlwind of stories to talk about and some really good stuff to share with you. So let me start by saying yesterday was a bit of an emotional day for me, and it might sound a bit sad for most people, and I don't mean sad like boo-hoo. I mean like what I'm about to tell you is probably not what a geek. But I sold my motorbike yesterday, so I actually let go of my motorbike. Now, the reason it was an emotional day for me was because of the sentimental attachment I had to that motorbike. There was a mixture of emotions in that bike. And I want to give you a little bit of a story about it. And it's not a big-headed story. This is not look at me story. This is just so you can understand where my emotion comes from. And now we all get to a point where we're sometimes attached to things. You know, we can be attached to cars, houses, or we can be attached to a partner, can't we? Do you know what I mean? You'd like to hope so if the relationship's going well. But we get emotionally attached to things. Now, I was specifically attached to my motorbike due to the fact that it was my favourite bike, which is a Yamaha R6. It was a limited edition, 100 of 180 made. It was a Valentino Rossi bike, and I've followed Valentino Rossi most of my life in MotoGP, and right up from his own 125 days. I've been watching him on TV, and I met him at Goodwood Festival of Speed. So I had that, and it had a private plate on it. So it had R6 VRO, Valentino Rossi. So absolutely worlds of amazingness in this bike. If you're a fan and it fits every criteria for me. It was one of those dream bikes. It was amazing. So I did get attached to it, and I've had it about a year and a half, 2 years. The other reason that I was a bit emotional was because I purchased it with the only remaining money I had left out of my insurance. Now, that is a luxury, I absolutely know, and don't get me wrong, I never ever looked at it other than it was a luxury. I was very lucky to receive this, but it was a way of getting closure. So all of that stuff that I'd endured through mental health, through PTSD, the stuff that had ultimately crippled me the last 11 years, and I've been fighting for in court to finally get paid out for something that wasn't my fault, has ruined my life. And this is why I'm here talking to you, because it gave me PTSD. There's nothing else to say about it. I have that problem. I had major depression and anxiety. So I'd had all of these ailments caused by this. So to let it go and buy something that was sentimental, amazing, what I wanted, a proper treat to me, to say you've endured this, have some fun back in your life. It was encompassing everything. So, but I got to a point, as you probably know from one of my podcasts previously, where the motorbike had a negative turn, and I did think about not being here any longer because I wasn't getting the excitement on the bike that I usually get from it, and that's what annoyed me. And then my brain, because I was in a horrible place at the time, was like, just fucking bin it, just go. You're going on what you love, you enjoy. Have some fucking fun while doing it. That's how stupid that you can think. But I didn't, luckily, and I came back home. And just before that, when I was on the bike, I had extreme back pain. So nothing on that bike then became fun, but I was still emotionally attached. So I came to the conclusion I needed to sell it. I just went, I've got to try and get past this and let it go. It's just going to be sat there as a toy. It's going to be pointless.
But what you are going to do is you are going to wait to find the right person. So I put it into the ads. I put my bike for sale, basically. That's it. It's up for sale on Auto Trader, ready to go. And nothing happened. I got a few sniffles. I got a few offers. Would you take this? Would you take that? I'm like, mate, what are you talking about? And they were ridiculous offers. But I just went no, because I know you're not the right person, because the right person wouldn't ask me for a discount, because the right person will know that I've set the price right for what it is. And then I got that phone call. One Sunday afternoon, I got a phone call from a gentleman who has now grown into a partial friendship, who wanted to buy it. And when I told him the details of the bike, within 15 minutes he sent me a deposit. And then we just got chatting and I was selling the bike to him. That's where it went. However, whilst he was organising coming down the next day, I'd sold it on that afternoon. He was going to come down the next day and pick it up. He picked up a discrepancy. And I was like, shit, what's this? He said, I just can't buy the bike on this discrepancy. And I was like, what is the discrepancy, mate? Please tell me so I can try and sort it out. And he said, basically, the mileage on your bike, the mileage on the previous MOT is fine, but the MOT from last year is wrong. It's added 10,000 miles. And I couldn't pick my brain up. And first of all, I'd never done this before. I'd never looked at fucking MOTs and mileage, and then he explained his backstory, that somebody had put the wrong digits in, and someone didn't buy undervalued his car, because it had added almost 100,000 miles to it, because someone had put an extra zero on. And I was like, fucking hell, this is a real thing, because I don't sell stuff very often. I'm not a trader, so I wouldn't look out for it. Anyway, I'd found out what the key problem was. In fact, it was my wife actually that found the problem. She went, you've had a service done on the same day and it's a different mileage by 10,000 miles. The second digit has been changed. Instead of a 1, he put a 2. So he'd added 10,000 miles on, and I was like, shit. So I was panicking, thinking I've lost the sale, I'm going to lose future sales. I was going mental, because this was my pride and joy. I wanted to go to the right place, and I potentially found the right person. Anyway, my knight in shining armour, again, was my wife. She came out and she said, you can do something about it. You've got the service receipt on the same day, has to be within 7 days of either side of the MOT, that's saying that you're the right mileage. And this is the wrong mileage by 1 digit. You send it off. So straight away I was on the email. Bosh, get this done. Phoned the guy up and said, mate, I think I've sorted it. Don't worry, it's going to take 3 to 5 days. He was like, mate, don't worry about it. You've got it in hand. If you can do it, brilliant, I'll buy the bike. If you can't do it, then I'll have to pull out. And I was like, fair enough, mate. You've given me everything you can give me. We got chatting whilst we were waiting for this 3 or 4 days, obviously because he'd given me a deposit, so he was invested, and I was invested in trying to make it work. So we got chatting, and I opened up about my mental health and just general chit-chat. Turns out he was ex-army, and I straight away knew why we clicked, because it's that same mentality, that same military personality that you just kind of know. I don't know what it is, you kind of know. So we were just chatting. Because I was open and honest, he was open and honest. That developed into talking about our families. The reason why he wanted the bike was because he wanted to go out with his dad. So he was like, oh yeah, my dad had an illness scare and I want to go out more with him and enjoy more time with him. And I was like, fucking hell, mate, my dad had cancer. I reflected heavily on the days that we went out together on the motorbikes, on Father's Day, when we used to go out on Father's Day. So it was all encompassed in this similar idea of what we wanted, and I couldn't believe it. You wouldn't say you would get a sale where everything's going to align like that. It was a bit weird, but it worked. And we got talking, and we got chatting about mental health, and we got chatting about this and that, and it transpires that, like I said, we've got a very similar background. So that was when I knew the bike was going to the right place. I was like, this bike's going to the right place. Absolutely. So when I got the confirmation back that the mileage was changed, he was ecstatic. We arranged to pick the bike up because he's in the other end of the country. And I was invested in talking to him, to the point where we finalised the sale, which was yesterday afternoon. Finalised the sale, and the last thing he said was, you know, hopefully I'll come down and see you one day and we'll have a catch up. And I went,
please promise me you'll jump on the bike and you'll come down this way and have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, stay the night and have a pint. I don't mind, mate. Just absolutely love to hear your story, because you know that you're going to get a good story. He's an ex-para, so he was absolutely like, I've lost people to suicide, good men through suicide. So what you're doing is amazing, and I was really, really humbled and excited by the fact of the way that he was looking at it. It was the way that I wanted it to be looked at. And when the sale was finalised, this morning he sent me a photo or a message saying it's been received, and I can tell you, hand on heart, this bike exceeds my expectations, and that meant the world to me, because I knew that I'd held it to its good standard, I'd looked after it, and I'm now passing it on to somebody else that is going to look after it with the same sentimental reasons. Very, very, very good story, and I love that story, and that's kind of like the fact that we're still talking is absolutely incredible. And that was just from the sale of a motorbike. It's crazy that you can find friendship, but I found the same when I was friends with my friend called Billy. He is obviously, he's still military, so we talk, and for me that's amazing, because we got talking because I was open and honest, and we had that military connection, so it was very easy to talk, and I think my open and honesty does help. And he loved it. He was just, like I said, this guy was just a really, really nice guy. He said, and even to the point, he said, if I could rate you, mate, 5-star, you have been amazing all the way through. You haven't kicked off. You've just done exactly what is required to make a good sale. And I said, Blake, that's what I'm just I'm honest man, mate. That's what I'm after. I wanted it to go to the right home. It's gone to the right home, and I'm happy because it hasn't just gone to somebody that was offering me 3/4 or a quarter of the price because they wanted a bargain. It was gone to somebody that appreciated it the same way that when I first saw it, I went, I want that fucking bike, and I'm going to have that bike because that is the bike that I'm going to enjoy. I would just have to get something similar that my old carcass can enjoy. So it's a really good story of just being open and honest, and how much it can draw you into people, the right people as well. This is the important bit, is I'm being open and honest, and I'm drawn into the right people. They're people that are willing to talk about me. He was even giving me feedback saying, no negativity, mate, but this is my favourite ones. These are my favourite episodes. He's gone all in. And I'm like, mate, I'm fucking amazed. Thank you so much. He said, this is my favourite one. Maybe you haven't done as well in the others, maybe because of the tone. And I went, okay, well, I know what he's saying there, but he's being polite. And I said to him, sometimes the tone in my podcasts haven't been the best. But what I was aiming for was consistency. Because the big thing with ADHD is you lose interest in a lot of things. So it's really hard to get that back. I've got cupboards in my kitchen that are half painted because I've lost complete motivation for doing it. I've got no fucking interest. That was a year and a half ago. A year and a half ago I started it 2 years ago. And a year and a half now, I've got 4 cupboard doors to paint. Take me about 2 hours, but I've got zero motivation. So I do get scared when I lose motivation because I enjoy these podcasts. I enjoy being open and honest. And I enjoy talking to people. And I enjoy it for my personal reasons. So I'm really scared that I lose that motivation. So I try to sound consistent. I try to just push myself to do it. And that is sometimes where the tone can be a little bit lost. And he was like, mate, that makes sense. He said, and it's not a negative. You're still giving facts. You're still out there. I'm just saying that you might not get the same response worldwide. And I went, that's fine. Absolutely, I agree. But that's the way that I'm doing it. So he was like, it's not a negative. And it was nice that he was able to be open and honest with me without worrying about the repercussions. And it was brilliant because, again, that just shows the strength in somebody who's after good intentions. And it just amazes me. I'm still dumbfounded now that the friendships that I've developed recently have all been through a mental health sort of me being open and honest about myself. And he was like, mate, you're doing a great thing. And that's rewarding for me. Which kind of draws me into another bit of a story, actually, which is a couple of little negatives. And
And I also, don't worry, I'm going to do it in the right way. I think that they put it, sometimes you've got to deliver news like a shit sandwich. You've got to have good news is one piece of bread, the shit in the middle, and then a good news on the other side of the bread. And you sandwich it together, and you've got yourself a good podcast, haven't you? However, there'll be more. There'll be details, the nitty gritty involved in mine. But it draws me into a bit of a negative story, which is fucking horrible to say. But yes, I'm going to have to say it. So, brilliant news yesterday. Absolutely fantastic. If anybody in the UK will know that the Lionesses brought it home. They won the Euro Cup. Absolutely incredible. There's been support unanimously across the country because it's amazing news. The women have come in their field of profession, their sporting field, from nothing. They had to pay to go to training. They've not had the support that they deserve. The support that men have had inherently through their own sporting endeavours. So I get that. Absolutely. And none of us as men have turned around and said, they're wrong. We've embraced it. However, yesterday, when the whole of the country was all linked behind the Lionesses, sorry, I've just knocked my camera, all rooting for the Lionesses, did they turn around and go, absolutely amazing, incredible, what a great story, bring it on? However, I then get woken up, and this is men on my own Facebook saying the Lionesses absolutely incredible, what a show, they showed real commitment, they showed tenacious attitude, they stuck it out, they played the game properly. They held the ball when they had to hold the ball. By the way, I'm not a sport cricket. This isn't going to be a sporting analysis because I'm not, plus I'm not even into football. But what I'm saying is I'm trying to give you the perspective from a mental health. Now, men get a fucking bad enough rap as it is. I then wake up this morning to a world of fucking pain through social media on nearly every fucking platform I look at, with women saying, we brought it home. We done what the men couldn't do. If you want a job done properly, leave it to women. Wow, is all I can say to that is fucking wow. We've supported the women. You're comparing chalk and cheese of a game. The level of skill, and now I'm not playing this down because it's an attack on a woman. It's absolutely not, because I won't degrade myself. I won't lower myself to that level. However, what I will do is offer some facts to these people just to highlight the stupidity that they are bringing on to the world. And this is the reason why they contribute to the reason to why male fucking suicides are 4 times more than anyone else. 4 times. Like, literally, stats ridiculous. Because we wake up to stuff like that. Just memes of fucking shit going, men, this. And I'm not on a high horse. I'm absolutely not. But the same fucking team was beaten by the under fucking 15s. Men. But the under 15 boys. You're not playing the same game. You've done an incredible job. But why can't you live it in the category that you are? Why do you have to compare yourself to men? You don't have to do that. It just has to be, you've done an incredible job. We all supported you. We all came out. We all said fucking well done. We've all commended you. You will get the fucking celebrations when you come home that you deserve. Absolutely. But don't do it the way that some women have done it. It's just there's just no need for it. There's absolutely no requirement to be like that. And that's a horrible negative story to say when we've supported. I mean, the amount of men that were there supporting the women, the amount of celebrity males that were fucking backing it and endorsing it was incredible. Because that's the way we're invested. So let's have a mutual fucking playing field here. And it's horrible to say, but that is what this world has come to in a way. It's making us feel bad. We shouldn't have to feel bad. We should all be happy about the level that we've achieved. And if you've won, you've fucking won. You've not got a spectator's fucking medal. You've not got an attendance medal. You've won the cup. That's incredible, mean feat. To come from nothing for years, not only that, to beat
the 8 times Euro fucking Cup champions, Germany. They've dominated it for the last 8 years, and you've just beat them 2-1. So incredible. Fucking commend you. Absolutely. But don't do that. Don't do it the way. Don't compare yourself to men. We need to stop doing that. We're different. Okay? Anyway, rant over. But I need to caveat a little bit more as well. So it kind of brings me into another little story, which somebody spoke to me the other day, and I was like, fucking hell, mate, just some shit sandwiches here. You're dealing me some shit sandwiches. And that was, he said to me, whilst we were talking about the mental health and we were talking about a podcast, and he said to me, you know, why do you do the podcast, mate? And I went, what do you mean? Why do I do it for me, mate? I do it because I want to raise awareness. I want to show people that I've endured it for 11 years. I've been like a roller coaster. I've lost relationships, friendships. I've lost a lot of things. I've lost my daughters growing up. I've lost fucking countless things. You can't get back. I can't get back what I've lost. I've lost people that were very dear to me. I've pushed away people that were very dear to me. So I want to raise awareness for that. So they turned around to me and said, okay, but you're not going to get famous and you're not going to get wealthy from it because there's loads of people doing it. And I went, okay, all right, well, stop there. First off, that's amazing news. You've highlighted the fact that the reason I'm doing this is to raise awareness. Now, if I'm not the only one doing it, that's the news I want to hear. If there's loads of people doing it, fucking brilliant. Hopefully, there's a future for us all to manage our mental health. Hopefully, there's a future where we can all just be happy in the world that is constantly changing, constantly evolving, and everybody constantly wants more. In a world where we all constantly want more, if we're talking about the mental health awareness, hopefully this will put the brakes on things. So I said, you've just highlighted that fact. And second of all, I'm not doing it for fame. I'm not doing it for fortune. I'm a 40-year-old father and husband with a job. I do this because I want to raise awareness of the struggles that I've endured. And I have fucking endured them. I've been to the bottom, the rock bottom. The very fact that I'm talking to you is amazing to me. So I want people to stop and listen and talk and be open. That is my goal. That is my ambition. That is what I want to achieve. And I just want to, and also there's a massive, massive element, the fact that I enjoy the process. It helps me. So if I enjoy the process as I go along, and I help somebody, say for instance, and we spoke about this on a podcast the other day, we had our live with Banterman Billy and Nelly, and we spoke about this, and I said that if there's 1,000 people that listen, and that number's nice, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's probably fuck all in today's standards, but if 1,000 people listen, and now I know my podcast has reached 1,000 downloads, then, and I only help one person, then I've done my job. I've helped that one person. And all the feedback I get is, I love hearing about you that struggles. And I'm like, absolutely, mate. I'm just a normal, regular human being that we all suffer. But unfortunately, as there's no S on the end of that, we didn't need that. As men, we don't talk about it. So we suffer in silence. When we suffer in silence, everything gets on top of us. Stress. It leads into depression. You lose libido. You lose confidence. For me, look, I mean, I take antidepressants and I'm putting weight on. It cripples me daily because of the medication I have to take. So I'm fighting my own demons to take a tablet that is helping me fight the demons that I can't fight. Do you see what I mean? It's just absolutely fucking ludicrous. And I'm doing the best I can. And that's because I've grasped my mental health. That's because I'm trying to take control of my mental health. But ultimately, I never was there. So there's people out there that will be similar. I was a functioning adult. I was going to work. I was achieving. I did what I needed to do on the circle of life, the rat wheel of the world at the moment. You know, the rat race of life, as they call it. That's the word I'm looking for. So I'm on the rat race, and I did everything I could. I pleased the bosses. I churned the workout. I turned up on time. I was never fucking sick for 5 years, even though I was battling depression and bad back and fucking migraines and anxiety. I still pushed through those fucking barriers every day. For what? For absolutely fuck all, really. Because I don't see any of that life anymore. And I'm better off without that life. And now I'm in a place where I'm slowly enjoying life again. This afternoon, it was a nice afternoon, and I went, I'm going to fucking go and play golf. So I went to the driving range, and I played fucking golf for 2 hours. And I absolutely fucking loved it. I went, the fucking man can wait. I've got time, I'm going to go and enjoy it. And then I'm back to have a nice evening meal with my wife. So I'm looking at things, perspective on life is so much different. Yes, I struggle with motivation. Yes, I struggle with my recent ADHD diagnosis and understanding things. So I'm learning on how to battle the things that I used to just fucking live with. You know, the hyper focus, the ability to not manage things properly. You know, you can manage certain things, you can't manage others. So I'm battling all the time, but I want to show awareness for that. And the stories that go along with that, I think, are incredibly amazing. Like I said, I've met someone this week that is an absolute diamond of a guy that has bought my motorbike off me. And he's going to enjoy it the same way I enjoyed it. So there's a good story there. Absolutely amazing. And it's a funny thing, but I kind of said to myself, when I lead on to this, and I kind of said to myself the other day that someone was talking to me and they were like, well, what's wrong with what's wrong with your mental health? And this was when I was chatting at work last week. And I went, the easiest way to describe it is, I've got a really weird voice there, sorry. The easiest way to describe it is, I'm broken. That's what I am. I've acknowledged the fact that I'm broken. And I'm trying to fix it now. So I'm ready. I have the willpower and determination to fix it. Now, for the last 11 years where I've shut people away, I've walked away from people, I've gone and lived on my own for 6 months. I've lived on my own for the best part of 6.5 years after that. So I pushed myself out of my house, left everybody for 6 months, realised that I wanted what I wanted, but didn't quite want it because I didn't know how to want it, because I was already in this PTSD. I've endured it for the best part of 3 years, and it just built from there, and I ended up being alone for 6 years. And I mean alone. It was just going through life, coasting through life. Now, people may say, oh, okay, you're here now. But I still reflect on wasting the last 11 years, because it has been potentially or partially a waste, because I've not done the things I should have done. I've not controlled myself. I've had outbursts. I've had all sorts of problems I've got along the way. And what I have done since January is see my mental health get under control. I have bad days. I have good days. I have bad weeks. I say this all the time. But I'm learning to live with them now and embrace them and try to challenge them. It's not hard. It's never going to be hard. And like I said, we still deal with these things, as I just spoke to you a minute ago about, the football and the social media being filled with women that are attacking men again. And we still have to focus on those things because they're in our faces every day. However, if you grab your mental health, you'll learn to ignore those things. Now, the only reason that I'm talking about it myself now is because it's a medium. This is my platform. I want to talk about not listening really to those problems, not listening to people that are saying these things. I think that will be. I think that there will be the demise eventually of all of this. And everybody will just look at gender as a neutrality, as in just, it doesn't matter what you are, who you are, how you are. You can still achieve what you want at your level. Don't constantly try to compare. I mean, that's inherently a male thing, isn't it? We compare. We are competitive. We are drilled with testosterone. So we do inherently compare ourselves, and we are competitive. But there's a way and means of doing it. And I don't think cross-gender arguments like that is a way of battling or grasping mental health. I think if anything, it just adds to the decline of it, because men will see that and go, yeah, all right, maybe we are fucking useless. Jesus Christ, another thing we're useless at. We can't do this, we can't do that, we can't raise fucking kids, we can't look after ourselves. It's a crazy fucking world, but that is what we're looking at. That's how we're being pursued, and it's being pursued across all mediums. So that's the reason why I'm talking about it, is to let people know that listen to this, not to worry. We can talk about it, and if it upsets us, we talk about it. It has upset me because I don't see the point in it. There's plenty of sports that we can talk about. We can go into rallying, we can go into motorbikes. MotoGP doesn't have one female. Rallying, the top level rallying doesn't have a female. The top level Formula One doesn't have a female in it. But we don't sit there and bitch and moan about it, do we? We don't sit there and go, where's the females in Formula One? Do we? We just fucking get on with it. It's a sport that we look at and we go competitive, say well done at the end of it. So it's important to talk, but it's important to address these issues and try and grasp hold of them. And that's rightly so with social media. I use this platform because I like to talk and grasp my own mental health. And hopefully, with the weirdest hopefully, I don't know why I spoke like that, help someone along the way. That's my most important part, is to help people. So it's drawn me into this, and I think that, like I said, I've had an absolute world of stuff to reflect on the last couple of days, and even the last week. I've had a nice weekend. Literally, my kids have gone away for the week, and I don't think it's nice because they've gone, but any parent will know it's nice when they've gone. So they've gone away for a little while, so I've had a nice relaxing time, just chilling out. It's been good. And I've been able to sort of kind of go out. I played sports with my friend on Sunday. So this is like the 7th week in a row I've gone to golf. I was at golf today. I'm really starting to build. And you can see the smile on my face. It's not a fake one. It's because I've had a good day. Despite the heat and literally hotter than Satan's gooch in the atmosphere at the moment, I've enjoyed myself, and that's because I'm getting that balance right. I'm still going out for my reflections. There's still areas I need to work on. I still need to work on my personal appearance. I still need to work on my weight, so I can get the confidence back. But this is all a journey. Everything is a journey. You need to take your time and enjoy it. That's the most important aspect, is enjoying it. When you lose the enjoyment in anything, it's time to put that down. And that is kind of really where I want to leave it for today. But just to give you a little bit of a snippet of my week, and just some topics that have happened recently that are still a constant attack on men. We need to brace up. We need to stand up for what is inherently ours, is us. And by that I mean talking about our mental health in the right way, expressing it with people, the right people, talking to your friends. I had my friend this morning, actually, that literally was quiet, didn't message us on our little positive vibes. And he spoke to us at about sort of midday, 1 o'clock, and it was about 4 or 5 hours afterwards we would normally talk. And he said to me, I'm just not feeling it. I've just had a bad day, but guys, you've really perked me up. Your morning messages of positivity have helped me get through this day. Now, he tried to analyse it. He said, what's up? We try to talk about these things. I said, what do you think's caused it? He said, well, it could be the Monday blues. Could be that I've had a really good weekend as well. And I went, it's probably the fact that you've had a really good weekend and you've come back to the same process because, you've done some sports, you've been out with your family, you've gone and enjoyed yourself. So when you get back into that normal rat race of life, it does become a little bit harder when you've had a good weekend. If you've had a boring weekend, sometimes it's nice to go back to work to get conversation, to do something a bit different. So we put it down to that. But do you know the most important aspect of that is, and probably the most important aspect to all of today's message, is it's important to be open and honest and talk, because by him talking, we helped him get through his day. By the guy that bought my bike listening and me talking and him being open, we developed into a friendship. Amazing news. And by talking about my goal, my journey, my purpose with somebody, and being open and honest and going, well, no, my goal isn't to get famous or become a millionaire. My goal is to raise awareness on whatever chance I can get to do that. I'm a diversity and inclusion advisor at work. I'm a diversity champion, which is a lovely word, for a volunteer company that it's a completely volunteer company, and I'm volunteering for the moment to be their diversity and inclusion champion, to raise awareness. This is something I reached out. I've never spoke to them before. It's an incredible charitable company, and they help veterans to get into sports and all this sort of stuff, and they help schools and universities. And I said, I'll be your diversity and inclusion advisor or champion. Here's my experience. Here's my, I've sat an interview and everything. They want references. So that's the next stage for me. So this is me giving back all the time. And if I can use a platform to talk, then absolutely love it. So it's really important for us. And this is what I mean by the whole lot. This is how important it is to be open and honest about your mental health. It helps grasp and take control of your well-being. It brings you closer to people. You'll find friendships in unusual places. People that they might come, they might go. But at the same time, just that little snippet of them being in your life, if it makes a positive impact and it's not a negative impact, say for instance, I could have sold the bike to somebody who didn't want it and he fucking cut me down. I'd be disgruntled. He's fucking cut my legs off, not literally, figuratively speaking. He's gone away. He's going to fucking thrash the bike. He's going to trash it. It'll end up in a ditch in a couple of weeks. Absolutely not. That's by being open and honest and finding the right person, waiting for the right person, it's come along. And that's important. It's about waiting, taking the time. There's another little story to that. To wait, take the time that you need to get the right result. There you go. Take the time you need to get the right result. Important little message there, and I'll put that in the snippet. But thank you so much for listening to me. Hopefully I will be moving away from a camera up here and a voice recorder down here, and I can get all of it in one, so I can just send it off. I don't know the story. I'm learning this at the moment, so my podcast will hopefully keep growing, and here I am, like I said, doing videos. So thank you for listening. I hope you have an amazing week. I'm going to do a motivational minute tomorrow just to perk everybody up for the week, and hopefully I'll get a live with Billy the Banterman, maybe even Nelly, maybe even Kieran. I might be able to get a live with them. So because I absolutely loved the live last week. It was really engaging. It was really fun, and hopefully we can deliver that as well this week. That'd be an amazing little snippet, nice little tail end of the week. I liked it on a Thursday. It delivered at the right time for me. Just when you're kind of subsiding, the week's kind of falling down, you perk it back up by delivering a nice podcast about mental health. So please take the time to rebuild yourself. Remember the little snippets that I keep talking about all the time. I'll give you a little review, so don't forget reflection time is really important. Looking after yourself, going out for walks in nature, listening to the right music, meditation, Pilates, yoga. The list is huge of the stuff that we can do to grab our mental health. But ultimately, the best one is being open, honest, and talking about it. Grabbing the right people. When somebody says they're not okay, help them. And it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to say you're not okay, because that will develop into, hopefully, someone helping you. Thanks for listening.